Good morning, everybody. It's Jennifer Nassi, Body and Soul Clarity Coach at jennifernassi.com. And I'm hanging out in the group I run today called Empower Your Inner Wise Woman, just answering questions, giving support, celebrating the amazing women in that community. And I thought, well, why not pop over and just say hello to everybody in general? So, hi. I had to share, my daughter left this for me. I came up to my office to do some work. I've got a sick kiddo at home, so I'm working from home today. And I don't, it's probably backwards, but it says Valentine from Talia, best mom ever. I love her. So that just made my morning. Anyway, I hope that you had a great Valentine's Day. I know that for some of you that can look very different in terms of how you chose to celebrate it, but hopefully it meant connecting with loved ones and most importantly, taking care of yourself. So one of the things that I talked about in my video for my group this morning is about the importance of self-care and self-love, because when we aren't taking care of ourselves, things start to go all kinds of crazy. And one of the things I talk a lot about is stress and the impact of stress on the body. So stress can show up in all kinds of ways, shapes, or forms, which is one of the reasons I work the way I do in terms of looking at the holistic health piece and spirituality and finding your passion and purpose and relationships and all of those different elements, right? Energy, working with the energy body. But when stress shows up, whether it's finances, in relationship, and the kinds of food we're eating, and that's creating stress in our systems, however it shows up in our life, it really wreaks havoc, because what happens, you have these lovely little glands that sit on top of your kidneys called your adrenal glands. They pump out cortisol and adrenaline. They take care of your stress response, right? And your body does not know the difference between I'm being chased by a tiger and I need to escape and get to safety, and I had a fight with my boss, or I'm stressed because I don't know what to do, or I don't have enough money, or I've got debt, or my relationship's on the rocks, or whatever it is. Your body can't tell the difference. It just knows that you're stressed and it needs to react in that way. So these lovely little glands start pumping out cortisol and adrenaline, and that works for a time. But when they are switched on constantly, when they are switched on and we don't know how to turn them off, which honestly is how society tends to run these days, they start to peter out. And what that first looks like is you start experiencing this roller coaster, right? Where sometimes you have energy and then you have none and you crash, and then you might have energy again, but let's say it's spiking at the wrong time. So now you can't get to sleep, or you're waking up in the middle of the night. Not to mention your moods are following that same roller coaster. The rest of your hormones have to be in balance with these stress hormones. So they're racing all over the place to catch up. So now your thyroid is involved. Women, your cycles get involved. All of these pieces, these chemical messengers in your body start reacting, and it makes us just feel all over the place. So your body does something very smart, because remember, your body's still thinking, hey, there might be a tiger. And I just noticed Susie's here and Rachel. Hello, lovelies. So there might be a tiger, right? Got to get away from it. So it's not thinking about making a baby. It's not thinking about how you're digesting your food or if you have sustainable energy, right? It's thinking, I got to get the heck out of here. So what it does is something called a pregnenolone steal. That means it takes pregnenolone, which is considered the mother hormone. It's responsible for making your sex hormones, all kinds of other important stuff, and it uses it to make more cortisol, right? Pretty smart if you're trying to run away from a tiger. Not so awesome if it's just your daily life. And now everything in your body is just feeling off, right? It gets to a place where eventually it can't even do that, and your adrenals just start to peter out, and now you have zero energy. And let's just say that is not a fun place to be, and it is not an easy place to heal from. So how about we try not to get there in the first place? So really, this is about the importance of you and putting you first. And I feel like, especially for women, we tend to be the caretakers. There are some men that do this too, but primarily women's roles have been seen that way. We are meant to be that perfect partner, the perfect mother, the perfect working woman or business owner, right? We wear all these different hats, and often we try to meet everyone else's needs before we take care of ourselves. And what happens is we get horribly depleted, right? Like we just hit rock bottom and now we have nothing else to give and we're falling apart. And if you're like me, I have an autoimmune disease, and autoimmune diseases are on the rise like you wouldn't believe. If you think about that, that is literally the body attacking itself. What's that all about, right? But I guarantee it's going to trigger that kind of stuff. And at the very least, it's going to leave you not feeling great. So know that this is important. This isn't about being selfish, right? This is about taking care of you, filling your well, getting clear on what you need. And then you can give from that filled up place, right? Totally different experience. And I promise that it will positively impact all of those around you. Hi, Alicia. It'll positively impact all of those around you if you can give from that filled up place instead of depleted, right? So if you start getting those thoughts around like, oh, I'll just do this for myself once these things happen, or I'll just take care of these things for me once I get this other stuff done, you can pretend there's a little Jen on your shoulder, right? And say, no, like this is actually critical to my well-being. And I can tell you too, hi, Felicia, that when you are taking care of yourself, when you are listening to your body and your body's signals, I have so many women who ask me, like, how do I connect to my intuition? Men, this is true for you too. This is true for everyone. But how do I understand those nudges and those gut feelings? How do I connect to something bigger? It is so hard to do that if you are not taking care of yourself, if you are overtired, if you're using caffeine and other things to fuel your day, sugar, right? Soda. If you are cramming in food whenever you get the chance, or not eating regularly, not eating foods that are nourishing to you, these are things that create a disconnect, right? You stop listening to your body's signals. And if you're not listening to your body's signals, it is very hard to hear those other signals that might be coming your way, right? So this is just, again, like the absolute bare minimum of needing to care for yourself. It is critical for you, for your well-being, for you to be able to be more present and in the moment and find that sense of peace and flow and happiness, right? Which is part of what I'm talking about in the group today too. Often we want to know what is meant to be 20 steps ahead from where we are now. And the truth is, you just need to know your next step, because we aren't able to see all the things that are happening behind the scenes, right? My guess is if you look back to different pivotal moments in your life, maybe some of them didn't turn out the way you expected, but looking back, you can say, oh, wow, I can see how these things led me to where I am here. And I can see the lessons that I learned along the way and how that's impacted me, how I'm making different choices, right? The problem is when you are in it, when you are like really in it, it is so hard to see any of that. And this is where trust comes in. Trusting that if you just take that one next step, the next will unfold for you and the next will unfold for you. And it might be in a way you don't expect. So absolutely do your vision boards, do your goal setting. But the number one challenge I hear from people when it comes to wanting to bring certain things in their life or experience certain things is that, well, I guess there's two pieces. They are totally disconnected from their body, right? So that's that listening to your body and taking care of your body. And they are trying to plan every single thing out and that it has to look a certain way. And what that means is they wind up with almost like blinders on, right? So it's like, I have to do this and it has to look this way and I have to get here and this is what's going to happen. And the universe could be out there saying, hey, there's this other really great opportunity for you, but you've got these blinders on, and are like, nope, I have to do it this way, right? And so it makes it feel like so much more of a struggle because we're trying to force and we're trying to push things. It doesn't mean that you don't have goals and that you don't set intentions and that you don't go for things. What you want to do is to do that and stay open to how it might turn out in ways you can't even expect yet. So how do you set those details, make your vision board, think about what you want to bring into your life, and yet not be attached to the exact way it's going to play out for you? And obviously that is something I go into with my clients. We, really dive in. But for today, if I could give you just one nugget of wisdom around that, it would be going back to the taking care of you in this moment, to the being present, to creating some sense of space, to letting your body relax and get out of that stress response. Because when we're in that space, number one, it feels so much better, right? But two, we start to be able to hear some of those inner nudges, right? Your own inner wisdom that you carry within you, to know what that next step is for you. And we don't have to push so hard, and it doesn't have to feel like such a struggle. Okay. So I know that's a whole lot, but I was sharing a lot of that in our group today. I'm sorry, apparently my dog wants to join in. I was sharing a lot of that in the group today, and I just thought, you know what? I think there's a lot of people who this could be just helpful to hear right now, especially as we are coming into that time of the year where our intentions have been set, our goals have been set, and we might already be falling into that space of feeling like, wow, I'm not doing a good job, or I'm failing at this, or this sucks, or here I go again, and it has to be so hard. And I just want you to know that you are exactly where you need to be. You are amazing. You have the answers within you. And if we take that pressure off ourselves to know how everything's going to play out, and we just go back to, how am I caring for myself? How am I connecting with my body? How am I connecting with something bigger, whether that's your family, your community, your spirituality, whatever that looks like to you? And am I creating space to be able to hear that next step? That is, I think, one of the most helpful reframes to be able to go to. So excited to see so many of you here with me today. Thanks for coming to hang out. Let me know in the comments, like if there were any ahas for you, if you found any of this helpful, or just to say, yeah, I'm totally experiencing this right now. And of course, I invite you to come and join us in the Empower Your Inner Wise Woman group. I will leave the link with the video once I sign off. But think about, how am I going to be taking care of myself today? How can I create a little bit of a sense of space? How can I reset my system? Maybe it's just with some deep breathing for a few minutes to let my body know, hey, you're okay. You don't have to be in this stress response all the time. How can I start to make some space for that inner voice of mine to come through so I can hear it more clearly and get more clarity around that next step for myself? And how can I let go? How can I plan and be excited for the future, but yet be open to all the amazing ways that it could unfold for me? So lots of love. Come join us in the group today if you want to do some more sharing and thinking and asking questions around this stuff. It's a very fun place to be. Lots of great women. I'd love to welcome you into it. And again, just share a comment with me. Let me know how you're doing, something you can celebrate, something that's going really well. We often tend to think about the things that aren't going so well. So share something that is going well for you. And then also just what resonated with you from what we've talked about this morning. What really stuck out for you? What's been meaningful or helpful for you? All right. Lots of love. Mwah. Hi, Meredith. I just saw that you hopped on too. So great to see you all. And I will be back with you again very soon. Hope to see you in the group too. It would be very fun to connect with you there.